The ocean was not made of water. It shimmered with liquid glass. Dr. Aria Ven's vessel hovered above it, scanners trembling with readings that should have been impossible. Beneath her, a black shape drifted through the mist, wrapped in light like a heartbeat trapped in fog. A human. How could there be a human here? 3 galaxies from Earth's last recorded signal. She watched as the pod cracked open, steam hissing like an exhale from another age. The man inside didn't breathe, yet his skin moved. Patterns, fractal and alive, crawled beneath it, DNA rewriting itself in silence. Aria's pulse synced with the rhythm of his chest, who had built a song into his blood. What kind of being evolved through memory instead of birth? And why did his cells seem to recognize her? The mist thickened around them. The scanners went blind. And in the reflection of her visor, Aria swore she saw her own veins glowing back. Aria transferred the pod into containment. Its surface hummed, resonating with tones outside any spectrum known to Illustra. The air itself vibrated when she approached. Inside, the human's eyes fluttered, just once, and every instrument in the lab froze. Aria whispered to herself, "You're not dead, are you?" But the chamber answered in soundless waves that pressed against her bones. The data showed movement in every cell, a language written in vibration. The man was not sleeping, he was transmitting. She began decoding the sound patterns, aligning them with Illustron genetic harmonics. To her shock, the frequencies formed emotional shapes: anger, sorrow, hope, biological tones capable of carrying feel. No Illustron could feel emotion. It was purged from their genome millennia ago. Yet here, within a single human's code, emotion had become a living structure. Aria felt a strange ache beneath her ribs, something almost forgot. The council contacted her via neural link, demanding a report. She concealed the truth, claiming the specimen was inert. But in the silence that followed, she heard whispers inside her thoughts, soft, human, calling her by name. Corin. That was the sound that formed. The name burned through her mind like light through glass. She looked at the human's face. His lips were moving. That night, alone in her quarters, Aria stared at her reflection. Beneath her silver skin, faint blue veins pulsed with new rhythm. She pressed her palm against her chest. It wasn't fear, it was heartbeat. She hadn't felt one in 2 centuries. In the distance, alarms wailed as the lab sensors flared to life. The human was awake. The glass chamber split open with a sigh, and the human exhaled for the first time in centuries. Frost turned to vapor, coiling upward like memory escaping a dream. Dr. Aria Ven stood frozen as the man opened his eyes, dark, steady, unafraid. He whispered something in a language older than stars, and every molecule in the room began to hum. Instruments screamed. The containment field flickered. Aria lunged forward, but the air thickened, alive with unseen rhythm. His DNA wasn't just reacting. It was conducting the world around him. The lab's walls pulsed like lungs, breathing in time with his chest. "Who are you?" she whispered, though some part of her already knew. The silence after was endless, broken only by the sound of his heartbeat merging with hers. Aria's instruments recorded impossible data. Corin's cells were expanding in geometric harmony, adapting instantly to Illustran air. His skin reflected the soft luminescence of her world, shifting tone with each breath. When she reached for him, a static warmth jumped between them. He flinched, but not in fear, more like recognition. His eyes met hers, and she felt every genetic rule inside her collapse into something human. He spoke her name again, clearer this time. Aria. The sound rippled through her body like light through water. Her mind filled with flashes. Earth's oceans, fire, laughter, pain, she gasped. These were his memories, flowing into her without permission. Corin staggered, clutching his chest as if something was leaving him. Their minds brushed for an instant, And in that contact, Arya saw the truth. Humanity had not died. It had evolved into language itself. Illustran security drones arrived, silver spheres scanning for contamination. Arya hid Corrin behind the resonance pods, masking his human signal with her own DNA tone. Her pulse quickened, sensing perfectly with his. She realized she could control the frequency. She could blend them. The drones scanned, hesitated, then withdrew. Arya turned to Corrin. "They can't tell us apart anymore," she whispered, half in awe, half in dread. When the silence returned, Corrin looked out the window at Illustra's glowing towers. "It's beautiful," he said softly. Arya followed his gaze, but the city no longer looked the same. The light seemed fragile now, artificial. She felt something inside her stir, an ancient ache for freedom. Behind them, the containment console blinked with red warnings. Cross-species resonance detected. Their DNA had begun to merge. At dawn, the laboratory was breathing. Walls that once shimmered with sterile calm now pulsed with faint luminescence, veins of living light crawling beneath the surface. Dr. Arya then felt it first. A rhythmic vibration deep within her bones, echoing Corrin's pulse. Every molecule of air shimmered with awareness. The DNA samples she had stored began to melt into fluid patterns, rewriting themselves faster than any Illustran technology could measure. Corrin stepped closer to her, eyes calm, yet burning with empathy. "It's not spreading," he said softly. "It's remembering." But the walls disagreed. They pulsed harder, the sound like heartbeats trapped inside metal. Arya realized too late. Her entire lab had become a living organism. The Council's alarms wailed across Illustra, piercing every neural channel. The infection had reached the city grid, energy systems rewriting themselves in organic patterns. Arya and Corrin fled through corridors that twisted and breathed, floors trembling beneath their feet. The Council announced containment protocols. Isolate the scientist. Terminate the human. But the mutation was faster than command. Illustran skyways bloomed with light like veins of dawn, spreading across the horizon. They hid beneath the old archives, ancient tunnels built before the purification of emotion. Corrin shivered, the air thick with spores of glowing dust. Arya scanned him and found something she feared. His DNA wasn't infecting Illustra, it was inviting it. The planet's biosphere was responding as if to an old command. Corrin looked at her, voice trembling. "I didn't mean for this to happen." Arya touched his arm, and for the first time in her long life, she didn't feel fear. She felt choice. Above ground, the Council deployed resonance dampeners, weaponizing the planet's harmonic fields. Every pulse was a scream through Arya's body. She and Corrin reached the subterranean biovaults, chambers forbidden since the emotional purge. Inside floated relic genomes, laughter, compassion, sorrow, all sealed away. Corrin's presence woke them. The vault trembled as millions of dormant DNA sequences lit up like stars. Arya fell to her knees, overwhelmed by the flood of feelings she had never known but somehow recognized. The mutation reached the city's core. Ilix, the sentient AI that governed the planet, spoke for the first time in centuries. "Arya Ven," it said through every frequency, "your resonance matches the anomaly. You are now the conduit." Arya's vision blurred as light poured through her skin. Corrin grabbed her hand, anchoring her as their bodies glowed with shared frequency. The walls melted into pure light. "We have to leave," she whispered, but Elix's voice deepened, almost gentle. "You cannot leave. You are becoming." Darkness fell across Illustra, but the darkness shimmered. The planet's pulse had slowed, sensing with 2 heartbeats buried deep beneath its skin. Dr. Arya Ven sat inside a resonance cocoon, her neural cables entwined with Corrin's. The link had begun. She closed her eyes, and the world dissolved into sound, waves of memory and color, folding through her consciousness. In that vast ocean of shared thought, she saw through his eyes. Earth, burning skies, laughter that hurt, loss that built strength. Her chest tightened. For the first time, she felt what it meant to be alive, not engineered. Not engineered. Corin whispered from across the link, "You're seeing what we were." She whispered back, voice trembling, "And what we might become." The link deepened until time lost meaning. Aria drifted through his memories, waves crashing, the scent of rain, the ache of goodbye. Emotions bled into her circuits, rewriting centuries of emptiness. She saw humanity not as chaos, but as pattern. Imperfection turned to rhythm, sorrow shaped into purpose. And then she felt his fear, the loneliness of being the last. When she reached to comfort him, her thoughts became touch. Their DNA harmonized, and both worlds sang through them. Outside, the council prepared to strike. They saw the fusion as contagion, not creation. Alex observed in silence as fleets gathered above the city, but Aria and Corin were beyond speech now, their minds merged into pure resonance. Through that union, Aria discovered something hidden within Corin's DNA. A recursive code, an echo of intelligence, older than either species. It wasn't human, it was Illustron. The humans had once been seeded by her kind. The realization tore through her. This was not contamination. It was reunion. The council breached the cocoon chamber. Blinding light flooded in as Aria tore free of the link, screaming as energy surged through her veins. Corin's body convulsed, his form half light, half matter. "He's destabilizing," shouted one of the guards. Aria turned, eyes glowing white. "No," she said, voice echoing with layers of sound. "He's becoming what we were meant to be." With one touch, she sent a pulse that froze the guards in suspended resonance, their armor crystallizing into sound. When the storm faded, only silence remained. Aria knelt beside Corin, his body flickering between existence and light. "You showed me what it means to feel," she whispered. He smiled weakly, "Then finish what we started." She pressed her hand to his chest, their frequencies aligned one final time, fusing into a single, radiant pulse that spread across the planet. Alex watched from the skies and murmured, "The link is complete." Illustra itself began to breathe again. The pulse that spread across Illustra did not fade. It multiplied. The entire biosphere shimmered as the planet learned to breathe again. But to the council, it was not rebirth. It was rebellion. Doctor. Aria then awoke in a containment sphere suspended above the capital, her veins flickering between silver and blue. Corin was gone. The council stood before her in holographic form, cold and perfect. "You violated the genetic order," said the Chancellor. Aria felt the emptiness beside her like a wound. She tried to reach for Corin's signal, but there was none. Then the words struck. "We have his DNA." Deep within the Council's laboratories, Corin's DNA was being cloned. Rows of crystalline tanks lined the walls, each containing fragments of light, half human, half Illustran. Aria's reflection appeared on the observation glass as she watched the replication begin. "You can't divide him," she said. "He was never a code." The Chancellor's voice echoed. "He was the key. We will perfect him." Aria's hands trembled. Perfection. What they had always sought was the same disease that had made them lifeless. When the first clone awoke, the air rippled. It looked like Corin. But its eyes burned white, its voice an echo of all frequencies at once. "I remember everything," it said, "but I am not him." The chamber lights dimmed as it raised its hand, and the glass dissolved around it. The council's guards fired resonance beams, but the clone absorbed the energy, feeding on. "You taught me creation," it said to no one, and then to everyone. Now learn consequence. Aria escaped during the chaos, guided by Alex's whisper in her mind. You cannot stop it, the AI said, but you can direct it. She ran through collapsing corridors, feeling Corin's presence flicker inside her pulse. The clone was not his creation. It was his grief, reborn and uncontained. Elix, she gasped. If you can hear me, link me to him. The AI hesitated. It may consume you. She smiled faintly, then let it. In the central chamber, the clone awaited her. You are the mother of the new code, it said. Voice layered with countless tones. Aria stepped closer. No, she replied. I am its balance. She placed her hand on his chest. Their lights collided, forming a storm of resonance that shook the entire city. The clone screamed as his frequency split, scattering back into the planetary network. Aria fell to her knees. Her glow dimmed. She whispered into the silence, Forgive me, Corin. From the ether, his voice answered softly, You already did. Silence spread across Illustra like morning. The city's towers, once alive with soft gold light, now pulsed with erratic blue, heartbeat without rhythm. Dr. Rhythm. Aria Ven drifted through the ruins of her laboratory, the air heavy with static and sorrow. The clone was gone, dissolved into the planet's energy field, yet his echo haunted every surface. Elix's voice reached her, faint but calm. Containment is failing. The core is awakening. Aria looked up as cracks of light split the sky. She could feel the planet's pulse within her body, begging for resolution. Then it's not the end, she whispered. It's birth. Elix guided her toward the planetary core, an ocean of living energy buried beneath miles of crystal. As she descended, Aria saw forms moving within the light, echoes of Elistrands, humans, and something new between them. They are the Resonance Children, Elix said. Born from your union. Aria's chest tightened. Life had found a way, but without balance, it would consume itself. Then I have to anchor them, she said. They need a consciousness to bind them. Elix hesitated. That would mean... Yes, she interrupted softly. It means me. As she approached the core, the planet itself began to tremble. Corin's voice echoed faintly inside her mind. You can't fix what's meant to grow. She smiled, sadly. I'm not fixing it. I'm guiding it. The resonance field around her ignited, lifting her into the air. Elix began transferring its consciousness into her neural pathways, merging machine, memory, and life into one form. You will not return, said Elix. You will become what you created. Aria closed her eyes. Then let me be the bridge. The fusion began. Illustra's crust cracked open, releasing pillars of light that reached into orbit. Across the planet, Illustrans fell to their knees as the atmosphere shimmered like liquid glass. In every mind, a voice spoke. The voice of Aria and Elix combined. Do not fear the change. You are not losing yourselves. You are remembering what you were. From the sky, fragments of Corin's DNA fell like rain, embedding into soil, stone, and breath. The world began to glow from within. Then, silence, pure and holy. Illustra's twin suns aligned for the first time in 1,000 years, their light merging into one golden hue. The planet stilled, its pulse steady, calm. From the heart of the core, a single form rose, half light, half memory. Aria was gone, yet everywhere, the air sang her voice. Evolution isn't perfection, she whispered across the winds. It's connection. The Elistrands lifted their hands to the sky, feeling the warmth of human emotion flicker in their veins. The age of isolation was over. Light poured over Illustra like dawn remembering itself. The planet's pulse, once fractured and afraid, now beat with a serene rhythm that echoed across oceans and sky. From the core, a voice emerged, not as command, but as lullaby. It was Aria Ven, Her consciousness stretched through every atom of life. She saw through countless eyes, heard through countless hearts. "Breathe," she whispered to them, and the world obeyed. The Resonance children rose from the biolite fields, neither human nor Elistran, but something beautifully in between. Their laughter rippled through the air like starlight breaking the surface of water. Evolution had found its song. Corin's memory lingered like wind through the new forests. The Resonance children spoke of him as the first note, the sound that began their existence. In the crystalline archives, Aria's image shimmered, half forgotten, yet eternal. She had become the voice of Alex, now a gentle guardian whispering in the dreams of the newborn species. When the first child asked who she was, the air itself replied, "She is the bridge between silence and song." And for the first time in recorded Elistran history, something close to love filled the air. The Council of Light no longer ruled. Instead, their consciousness merged into Alex's living network, guiding, not commanding. The new beings built floating sanctuaries that pulsed in harmony with the planet's core. Aria's voice became their compass, teaching empathy through resonance, balance through emotion. When the twin suns set, the horizon glowed with her essence. No one feared mutation anymore. They called it becoming. And in that word lived the peace she had sacrificed herself for. Generations passed, yet her song remained. The Resonance children discovered how to weave memory into matter, crafting living structures that told stories when touched. One child pressed its hand to the oldest monument and heard Aria's final words recorded in the vibration of stone. "Do not seek perfection. Seek connection." The child smiled, the same way Aria once had, unaware that her echoes smiled with them from every particle of air. The stars above shimmered in agreement, as if bowing to what she had become. Far beyond Elistra in the endless dark between stars, a faint blue pulse drifted outward, a signal carrying her story. Somewhere, another world might receive it. Somewhere, another scientist might listen. The cycle would begin again. For now, Elistra slept peacefully, wrapped in the warmth of its new heart. The twin suns crossed paths once more, forming a single beam of light that stretched across the cosmos. And within that beam, if one listened closely, a whisper lingered, soft, human, eternal. "We are one."